don't be afraid to take risk. Kasi not taking a risk is the biggest risk.
Okay, good afternoon, good morning, good evening viewers. Today we have here Mark, Andal and Dionne. Andal na ba or Divino?
I kept
your last name? Yeah, so we have two nurses here, two nurses currently in Melbourne, so we're both living in the same city. I remember naalala ko nung 2017, I received an email specifically from Dionne, inquiring about the pathway to Australia. And at that time, both of you were in Nigeria.
That's right, sir.
Yeah.
I was asking a friend who was then in Sydney.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was asking for help, like financial help, kasi nga gusto namin punta dito. And then she mentioned, kontakin mo tong ELP kasi I have a friend in Dubai or Saudi na ito yung agency nila. Mm-hmm. Then she gave me the contact number and then I sent you an email.
And well, firstly, how was life in Nigeria that time? Ilan years kayo sa Nigeria?
I stayed there for 5 years and then
4 years.
4 years. And dun na kayo nag-meet sa Nigeria or even before then?
We were actually classmates in the nursing school in the Philippines.
Yeah, so after we had experience in the Philippines after we graduated 2009.
Mm-hmm.
So ako nag-work ako in Cotabato and then she was in Davao. Then after I think 1.5 or 2 years, I left for Libya. So before I went to Nigeria, I went sa Libya muna. So yeah, in Libya I spent for almost 2 years. And then before nag-transfer ako ng Nigeria. Yeah, so when after Libya, Nigeria, then we spent 4 years and then 5 years.
My then employer in Nigeria was looking for an ICU nurse. So na-recommend ko siya, kaya from Libya, tinanggap siya kagad sa Nigeria. Doon na kami nag-start.
Doon na kayo nag-start, okay. Doon na kayo nag-meet or even before then?
We were just friends before.
Okay, yeah. What made you interested in Australia? During that time, you inquired with me.
Actually,
it was my plan, sir.
It was your plan. Okay.
It was my plan.
Right.
Actually, it's not Australia that was initially na gusto kong puntahan, gusto kong pagtrabaho. Initially, it was New Zealand. And then yeah, by sa research, parang sabi ko parang mas okay sa Australia. So I was before we actually plan na umalis sa Nigeria together, parang nauna akong mag-work. I mean, nauna akong mag-process ng mga initial requirements, like for example, yung English exam. So nag-take ako ng English exam before.
Specifically for Australia or New Zealand? Okay.
For New Zealand.
Sorry,
for Australia that time, sorry. So nag-take ako ng IELTS that time. Kasi, gusto ko pumunta ng Australia, pero during that time, wala akong financial capacity para pumunta dito. So, nag-try din ako ng UK.
Okay.
Nag-try din ako ng UK. So, kumuha ko ng mga requirements, nagbayad ata ako ng initial application, pero hindi ko siya tinuloy. And then we finally decided na punta kami gusto namin ng Australia. So, siya pinilit ko na mag-take ng English exam. So, I was forcing her na you have to take English exam. So, nung umuwi siya na Pilipinas,
siya nag-review sa siya ang reviewer ko. So, we started reviewing sa Nigeria na. Like, siya ang teacher ko. Kami lang. Online, YouTube. And then, kasi sa Nigeria, we can only go home once a year. So, pag uwi, yun lang yung time na pwede mong gawin yung mga pag-process, take ng exam. Because we can't do that sa Nigeria. Hindi kami pwedeng lumabas doon. Nasa campus na kami. So, yung bakasyon namin, doon namin ginawa yung mga pagpaprocess.
And kamusta ang buhay doon sa Nigeria?
It was difficult for young professionals, sir. For let's say,
Pag single ka, pag wala kang anak. Kaya lang sa amin, parang we are motivated na like kumita kasi may mga anak kami. So,
And
parang
na-feel
kinaya
ko
namin.
yun, yung when you communicated with me, you're really persistent, Dionne, I remember.
Yun, kinaya talaga namin. Mahirap talaga. Nigeria is parang poor masyado siya na poor country. In terms of like sa hospital doon, we have to like manage kung ano ang meron sila. Kasi even if you compare Nigeria sa Philippines, way more ideal pa rin ang Philippines. So parang totally different culture, place, people. Mahirap siya. Pero okay na yun.
And it was difficult on my part kasi yun pala yung time na pasimula yung ICU nila. So basically ako pa yung nag-start ng setup ng ICU, which is
Talaga?
medyo mahirap on my part kasi yun na yung mga resources, yung mga tao, and then mahirap na mag-absorb sa system nila ba na for example ganito yung gusto mo, ganito dapat yung gawin, hindi nila kaya maibigay sa inyo, kaya gawin para sa unit. It was difficult. And then yung professional growth din.
Yeah.
Yung professional growth, for like na-feel ko na yung 4 years na experience ko doon, parang nasayang siya kasi kung if pumunta ako siguro kung earlier ako nakapag-isip na pumunta dito, siguro mas maganda na siguro yung experience ko or kumbaga yung position ko ngayon kung nag-start ako ng mas maaga.
But on a brighter side, yung experience namin doon, hindi naman siya like sayang lang because it taught us like sa person, marami kaming natutunan pa rin.
And do you think it helped, being in Nigeria helped you, both of you here, move to Australia? Yeah.
Parang yun yung stepping na rin. Kasi ako 5 years, hindi rin biro yun, sir. And Australia credited my experience, my 5 years experience sa Nigeria.
Yeah.
Tsaka maraming, like, as a theater nurse, marami pa rin akong natutunan doon. Though hindi lang sila ideal sa theater, pero somehow, there are cases na doon ko lang din nakita. Yung learning, kumbaga, sa theater nurse, it helped me a lot pa rin.
And were you nervous when you emailed me about Australia? Were you nervous about coming to Australia? What were your feelings coming into
Well, at first, sir, I was nervous of the financial aspect kasi hindi tayo kilala ng ELP. Nandito tayo sa Nigeria.
Hindi niyo kami kilala.
Mag-a-apply tayo, support sila sa atin na hindi nila alam like anong hawak nila sa atin. Alam mo yun? And then as the communication went on, parang ito na yun. Like at the start hindi talaga, parang hesitant ako. Siya lang naman talaga yung may gusto. Pero parang na-encourage na rin ako along the way na possible pa talaga siya. And parang every step, like yun yung days na email became very important. Alam mo yung check mo talaga yung email mo kasi nandun na lahat ng communication sa inyo, school and everything. Parang abang na lang kami ng email. And Nigeria doesn't have the most beautiful or most effective Wi-Fi or internet connection. So, kailangan pala rin pumunta somewhere na maganda ang connection.
Hindi ko alam yan.
Sir, pupunta kami sa bintana, sa labas, mag-aantay ng email. Kasi yun yung parang grabe na ang anticipation namin.
And we were thankful kasi yung communication namin with the LP and
ELP at that time. Now it's ELI.
Sorry, ELI.
ELI now, but ELP at that time was Education Linkages.
So,
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Ako yung communication namin with you, hindi siya kumbaga hindi kami nahirapan
Mhm.
kasi may response agad. And then kumbaga merong mga bagay na kumbaga marami kayong bagay na consider sa for example sa mga requirements, like for example sa mga signatures na dapat original signatures pero kinonsider pa rin ninyo given the fact na wala kami sa sa Pilipinas. Kumbaga malaking tulong yun para sa amin. Hindi kami nahirapan to process papers.
Yeah. And then fast forward to umuwi na kayo sa Pilipinas. I remember that when specifically we were waiting for there was an issue with not an issue, but your visa was just delayed, right? So usually what happens is we booked the flight early in preparation. So of course, diba, then yung visa, we hope the visa will come at a certain time. Your visas came at the right time. So nung nasa office ako nun, and I was preparing for me to bring both of you to the airport kasi pumunta kayo sa office with your naka-suitcase na kayo lahat. And your visa came on the same day. So diretso tayong airport noon. How are you feeling at this point?
Pumalik kami sa airport, sir, actually, because nandun yung big luggages namin. Pero after doon, nag-BNB pa kami. Because the visa didn't come nung hinatid mo kami. So nag-Airbnb kami sa Airbnb. Kami nag-antay na una dumating sa akin. So at that time, sabi ko, hindi ko pwedeng i-let go to dahil hindi dumating yung kanya. Like what if hindi dumating? Nag-usap kami. So the sad part was, separate ko na yung, kasi when I packed our bags, halo-halo. So, nung natanggap ko yung visa ko, iniba ko na. Kasi what if hindi ko siya pwedeng i-let go. Like, parang hindi pwedeng dalawa tayong, like, madidelay. Parang meron kaming future na ano lang, kung if ever talaga hindi, ako muna, then antay tayo sa next intake. Kasi hindi pwedeng dalawa tayong
magkahiwalay.
Hindi pwede. So, parang
Yung
akala namin hanggang 6 p.m. lang ang office, so wala nang mangyayari. Pero
I can remember that time, sir, I was emailing immigration, calling them.
Ako rin, we were emailing immigration and seeing what's...
So, yung sa kanya, nung lumabas na yung visa niya, may kasabay na email sa akin na kailangan ako mag-submit ng polio vaccine na evidence. So, nag-submit ako kaagad. And then, it was 6 p.m. I remember it was 6 p.m.
Yeah, we were worried kasi wala nang office after 6 parang ganun.
Yeah.
So, it was 6 p.m. when finally na-release yung
6:15 something.
visa namin. And then the flight was around...
Naka-rebook pa kami twice ata.
Yeah. Oh, so we rebooked twice, that's right. Yeah.
Naka-rebook pa kami twice.
Yeah.
Na-miss talaga namin yung orientation day, sir.
Yeah, but thankfully, okay na mag-miss ng orientation day. Right?
And then, yung orientation sa amin, ginawa, like, ilan ba tayo, kaming dalawa and then some other people, siguro mga dalawa or tatlo. Inorient kami na kami lang, and then dinala kami sa classroom. Start na yung klase. So like, 100 people looking at us when we entered the room.
Like, oh, latecomers.
And how was your arrival here? How did you feel? Were you rushed? Kasi diretso na kayong, you come here, you will probably go straight to your accommodation, and then you now have to go straight to school, pretty much. Diba?
Fortunately, I have a friend na nandito lang din. Sila talagang sumundo sa amin, hinatid kami sa accommodation, pinag-grocery pa kami.
Wow. Yeah.
And then, sir, it was the first day of winter when we arrived. Di ko na-expect na, mali ang outfit, kulang ang outfit. Malamig pala siya. So,
yeah. So Dionne, you have a daughter named Hershey, right? 17 years old.
Yes,
and Mark, you have a son named Arkin, 6 years old, right? So how did you both feel? Obviously you had when you guys were abroad, you had to leave them behind, and then again leave them behind when you go to Australia. How did you both find yung motivation to of course, just keep going? And how did it feel? I mean, having to leave them again and hoping, looking forward to hopefully getting permanent residency when you're here.
For me, like, sir, personally, of course, sila yung reason why we, like, we have to take risk. Sila yung reason. So, yeah, for the meantime, siguro, for, like, in my case, di ko pa makuha si Arkin. But it's going to be easy because of our visa status.
So Arkin is not here yet, right?
Not yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, of course, we have to work hard and we have to take risk because of them. And yeah, I think that's the, yung kumbaga yung reason why we have to work hard, work extra time.
Sure.
It's for them,
Yeah. And ikaw, Dionne?
Tsaka yung kasi sir, goal na to come here, parang mas yung possibility na makukuha mo sila because this is Australia, iba siya compared sa ibang country. Like, if we were in Nigeria, it's not possible to. And why, like, not in that country. So, dito, parang sure na sure ka na makukuha mo talaga yung anak mo.
Yeah.
And wala akong kasi it was very smooth. May mga hurdles pero hindi ko na siya, parang kumbaga maalala mo na lang yung mga good things na like the smoothness na mga events.
Yeah. Well, both of you were very lucky as far as your pathway is concerned, and we'll talk more about that later on. But let's fast forward now to graduation, and usually Dionne, I know that you're in the forefront of what were both of your plans when you graduated, and in the plano nyo, what was the next step? Which I know what the next step is, but what were your plans?
You mean the bridging program po?
Yeah, so after bridging program, ano ng plan?
Well, sa Nigeria pa lang, nakaplano na lahat. Meron na kaming papers, because we know after graduation, you have to apply for this and you need a certain paper from where you worked before. So, sa Nigeria pa lang, meron na kami nun para masubmit whenever we are like ready na for application for registration, ANMA, PR, lahat yun may pirmado na lahat ng mga papers namin, sir. So, kaya siya smooth kasi we did research din talaga.
Yeah.
And
we were always one step ahead of.
You were, right? Yung nursing, when you graduated, I mean, we had a lunch at some point and kinakwento niya sa akin na you were the earliest that received your nursing registration because
before the graduation, we already submitted our papers sa APRA.
Yeah.
Kumbaga, meron silang requirement na kailangan, but we indicated they're on the process para by the time na hingiin na siya, dumating na. Like, even before we graduated.
And no one did that during it was just you guys that decided to do.
After graduation, few days after, lumabas na yung registration. Registration namin.
Yeah.
Opo.
Yeah. And then before that, before PR, nagpakasal kayo nun. So was that already in the plans? And so after graduation, pakasal tayo and then go PR. Was that in the plan
Not initially. Parang lang siya. Kompleto naman kami, sir, ng requirements to prove the relationship. Pero sabi namin, let's make this parang sure na talaga. No? Wala nang question. Marriage certificate is the best parang proof of the relationship. Sabi ko, but even if meron kami mga letters, mga postal address na the same kami, we still decided na magpakasal na lang kasi parang, well, hindi naman siya pakasal na lang. No?
Of course.
Like, para sure na hindi na kami question, hindi na kami hinga ng further requirements.
I agree that yung marriage certificate is the most solid evidence and no
kahit
questions.
may marriage certificate, sinali pa rin namin yung mga niready namin na wala na, diretso na.
And, opo, siguro maganda rin na-mention sir na before graduation, I already had my interview sa
For your graduation, you already had your
job interview.
Naka-apply na kami while bridging program.
Yeah.
Naka-apply na interview na siya, sir.
Yeah.
So before graduation, I had my interview already sa Epworth.
Yeah.
Epworth Hospital sa ICU yun. So I was just so lucky because siyempre yung work experience ko for ICU. And then when I came here, when I arrived here, interview, ICU, and then nakuha ko.
Wow.
Yeah, yun.
And so even would you say you knew you were hired even before you applied for permanent residency?
I started working
Well, on student visa.
That's right.
before we had the PR.
Yeah, before you had and you received your PR. How many weeks after you launched your PR application? So let's say let's go from nursing registration to PR application. How many estimate on how long?
So nursing registration was June, July, September, and then UNMAC after 2 weeks.
Then UNMAC was for 3 weeks. We received our UNMAC after 3 weeks, and then because UNMAC is a requirement to lodge an EOI. So we lodged EOI.
EOI for 2 visas. So 189 and
190. So we got invited for the 190 first, but we were really waiting for the 189 because it's the more.
Kasi yung 190 Victorian.
You have to stay.
You have to work in,
correct.
Stay in Victoria for a certain time. So we were invited sa 190 pero hinintay pa namin yung 189 which is dumating din agad ng
days after ng
days after.
190.
See your process was
very smooth.
Is an exception. Ang bilis, di ba? So yeah, tell me so your 190 arrived and a few days after yung 189 arrived.
So after ng 189 we lodged right away. No, with the help of ELP, ELP, because we need money at the time to lodge the visa, and he was the only one na nag-work noon. Then student time lang na work, limited 20 hours a fortnight, a week. So hindi namin kaya. So ELP helped us financially to lodge our visa. So yun, nakapag-lodge kami, but at the time, pag nag-lodge ka, you are entitled to work. Like, you can work full-time na. So, as soon as nag-lodge ako, at na parang nagka-bridging visa, I applied for work na. While he's working, like, continuous sa work. So, yun, parang working na ako full-time, even before I had my PR, even we received our PR.
How did you land your first job?
That was my third interview. So I first interview, it was malayo kasi yun, sir. Hindi rin ako in masyadong okay doon na place. Then itong current ko na hospital, meron siyang kasabay na private hospital, same ng hospital niya. Dalawa sila sabay na hinire ako, but I chose the public hospital because it's mas maganda yung benefits, tsaka mas maganda yung experience. So I chose the public hospital. Noon, hindi pa ako PR, but I was working full-time na. And theater nursing, and they credited my overseas experience.
Wow.
Max agad.
Galing, eh? And let's fast forward now to last year. So last year, the pandemic happened. Well, first of all, kumusta kayo dun sa ano? How did you guys handle yung pandemic during that time?
As frontliners, sir, siguro during COVID time, it was like ako for example, kasi sa ICU, it was difficult during sa work mismo dahil maraming changes. yung mga protocols bago na. Pero kumbaga yung like for example yung travel to work, hindi siya ganun kahirap compared sa yung ngayon regular days. Hindi siya ganun kahirap. Yeah, so during that time it was difficult on my part kasi doon yung nag-start yung postgrad studies ko. So sa Deakin din ako pumasok, but then it was stopped and then lahat online na. So I have to set up extra room just for yung klase namin. And then balik na naman sa work. Na bagong protocols, mga ganun, mahirap yung kumbaga mahirap siya as frontliner kasi you're the frontliner.
Yeah.
Tsaka, yeah, it was difficult. And then ICU ako kumbaga kung let's say may mga positive patients or suspected patients na critical, dun sa amin ako pupunta. And kumbaga, yeah, it was difficult pero yung support ng hospital namin at saka ng government mismo, kumbaga nafe-feel mo. Kasi sa private hospital, for example, during COVID times, yung private hospital was funded by the government already. So, walang, kumbaga, yung mga supplies, yung mga PPEs, hindi siya ganun kahirap kasi the Australian government supported the private hospitals, the private sectors. And we were so lucky, kumbaga, kasi at least kahit frontliners kami, alam namin na safe kami. During that time.
Yeah. Would you say that living in Australia during the pandemic, did you really felt yung the support of the Australian government?
We are actually fortunate that we are here. Sa panahon na ganun. To be honest, parang siya sir, kumbaga hindi siya mahirap kasi yung iba, kung titingnan mo na brighter side, yung iba nga nawala ng trabaho. But kami wala. Parang, and we had the PPE, we had everything that we need. Kasi nasa hospital, nasa healthcare kami. So, in terms of work, parang more on nag-add lang ng precautions sa mga ginagamit. Pero work-wise same. Like, we're just fortunate na nasa healthcare kami at nasa Australia kami.
And you will feel safe talaga sir sa workplace mo. We felt very safe during COVID times.
Was it scary at that point nung
It was scary and
especially in lockdown, right? When there was a lockdown, was it scary during the lockdown or
during the lockdown? As frontliners, kumbaga nabigyan kami ng privilege to privilege. Like, you have the reasons to go out.
Yeah.
And then shoppings, kumbaga nabigyan like
pag healthcare worker ka,
you special time
to shop.
To shop like that. Kumbaga maganda.
Yeah.
We felt very privileged.
Yeah, and at that time, yung just so for everyone to know, yung during the lockdown, the hard lockdown sa Melbourne, we were the only state. Melbourne was the only state, right? Or sorry, Victoria was the only state that was in hard lockdown during that time.
And you will really feel we felt the lockdown kasi walang
Madawa, diba?
The roads are clear.
Yeah. We were only allowed to go out 1 hour only for exercise, usually not for frontliners, but yung the regular. There was a 5-kilometer radius at that time, diba? Yeah, the Ring of Steel ang tawag nila doon. Yeah. During the pandemic, something really beautiful came out of yung as far as your situation is concerned.
Yeah.
So during that time, si Hershey, who is now again 17 years old, finally arrived Melbourne. Tell me when and tell me your experience on that arrival.
So, the timing was just perfect na grant yung visa niya March. Parang at the time, hindi pa siya ganun yung COVID. So, may pag-asa pang makapunta siya dito. But we didn't plan, kasi ang gusto ko sir, sunduin siya.
Sa Pilipinas?
Oo, uuwi ako. But then, I couldn't take the risk of going home kasi parang flights are like hindi siya same before. And then
You were browsing the You were browsing Facebook.
Yeah, we were browsing and I saw the sweeper flight.
Mhm.
Yung mga PR and Australian citizens from Philippines
We're given
i-prioritize.
privilege by the
were prioritized to come here. So,
Mhm.
PR na siya. Kasi
PR na siya, that's right,
even
yeah.
even if
Yeah.
hindi pa siya nakapunta dito, PR siya. And ang ano kasi ng Australia is to reconnect families together. Like,
Mhm.
especially sa ganitong situation, kailangan magkakasama. So, syempre, PR siya, PR ko, nandun siya. We have, like, tinulungan kami ng Australian government na makuha ko siya. So, the support, sir, was grabe kasi even nung dumating siya dito, sinalubong ako ng Australian health,
something.
from the health sector,
Yeah.
sir.
Yeah.
Kasi sila ang magpapamit sa amin.
Mhm.
Then they brought us to the hotel, free,
Yeah.
everything's free, accommodation, food, everything. Then, after the 14 days quarantine, hinatid kami talaga dito sa bahay.
Wow. Mm.
Everything free.
But prior to that, so just to mention na while we processed the papers of Hershey para maka-flight siya papunta dito, kasi ang Davao was very strict kapag you're below
Paglalabas.
18, you should have like special paper from parents.
Mhm.
Ang DSWD ng Davao, medyo strict sila sa ganun. But the Embassy of Australia in Manila, nag-send sila ng paper. Ang content nun is like, you have to let Hershey to pass like checkpoints and all of that.
Mhm.
And if you have any questions, you just have to ring this number, and that number was connected to the Embassy of Australia.
Mhm.
Kumbaga it was smooth, kumbaga. Pagdating sa airport.
Smooth again.
And it was her first trip na parang siya lang. Kinabahan ako, sir.
I'm
Kasi
sure, I'm
first
sure.
trip niya.
And it's international.
And it's international.
International
And she
flight.
was alone.
And during in its pandemic.
And she was alone.
Yeah.
Meron siyang nakasabay, same plane na a friend of mine, pero tas narinig niya na pinipage yung name niya kasi
Mhm.
parang dalawa nilang sila iniantay ng plane.
Yeah.
But that friend, hindi niya pwedeng ipuntahan kasi andin sila, they came from a separate domestic,
Mhm.
galing Cebu yun eh. So parang hindi ako makarely sa kanya na puntahan ng anak ko. So ang kaba ko sobra.
Anong feeling na nung yung in the airport, darating na si Hershey?
I was supposed to be working that day, kaya lang nag-ano na ako. Sabi ko, I need to monitor the flight. I need to monitor the flight. So
Hindi ka na makafocus.
hindi na makafocus. So nag-off na ako that day, getting ready to go to the airport.
Yeah.
Kasi from the airport straight, considered ano na rin ako. Kasi
Yeah.
diretso na ako to quarantine din.
Yeah. Yeah. And kamusta na si Hershey? How is Hershey adjusting to Australian life?
Daddy. She's in year 11 now.
Yeah.
Adjusting to the educational system of Australia.
And she's a teen, right? So yung adjusting as a teen, how is she?
Yeah, iba.
Diba?
She's getting there.
Getting there. Yeah. So it's been what? One
1 year.
1 year. Wow. Okay. And how is both of your lives looking now? And what are your long-term goals? As of this point. So sa ngayon, we're in your home. We're in your home. Yeah, and it's a beautiful home here in St. Albans area. How are you? Tell me how your life is now.
I just started my another new job. So started last March. So we're working in the same hospital now, sir. Aside from my previous private hospital, I'm working at the same hospital where Dionne is. It was a difficult transition from private to government hospital kasi mas busy, mas maraming pasyente, but maganda kasi yung ini-aim ko na professional growth, ngayon ko siya start na feel, which is very fulfilling on my side. When we talk about long-term plans, kung about sa work, hindi ko pa alam, sir. Wala pa akong, kumbaga happy pa ako ngayon. Like I'm just enjoying what I have now and what I'm experiencing now.
And is Melbourne somewhere a place you're planning to stay long term? Parang no plans of moving elsewhere?
I don't think so.
Kasi mahilig ka sa malamig, di ba?
Ito na yung
Yeah.
ito na yung place na gusto namin mag-settle talaga. Long term plan, sana magkabahay.
Yeah.
Sarili.
And
Time.
what do you guys love most about Australia?
Healthcare. Yeah, healthcare is the best. Parang di ka mababother na pag may iniinda ka, go to the clinic, see a GP, all free.
And you don't have,
You don't have to pay. You don't have to worry about, like, if you need laboratory tests, all free.
Great. And
as an employee, you will feel that you're very lucky kasi sa hospital, hindi lang yung pasyente yung focus ng hospital, but yung employee din at yung kumbaga yung well-being was as a nurse. Yeah, you were, kumbaga look after, kumbaga sabihin natin, aside from the patient, yun din kami, kumbaga nilook after din nila. Which is very good, kumbaga as a employee. Kasi hindi ka matatakot, hindi ka yung security and yung security mo talaga sa employee, mafe-feel mo talaga dito.
That they're really looking after you.
Yes.
Even the Australian government is looking after you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they're very supportive of your professional development.
Yeah. Are you your first choice was New Zealand? Are you happy that you decided to go to Australia instead?
Yeah, I think it was the best decision that we made so far. Ito ang napunta, and we're so thankful na maganda yung position namin kung nasaan man kami ngayon.
And it's very fulfilling, sir, na nasa trauma hospital kami ng Melbourne, parang ng Victoria.
Not to brag.
Not to brag.
Top 25 best hospital in the world.
Yeah.
Alam mo yung feeling na yung mga nakikita mo na mga trauma sa news, yun yung kinikater namin na patients sa hospital. Yung mga nasa news, yan yung inoperahan namin.
Yeah.
It's very fulfilling talaga siya.
And it's amazing to really hear your stories and just to see where you guys were, from the first point of communication 2017 to and then all the way now to 2021. It's always amazing to hear and fulfilling for us, to hear these stories. Before we end the segment, well, firstly, belated happy birthday, and it's Dionne's birthday today. Happy birthday! So thank you for taking the time to meet with me. What is your message now to nurses who are aspiring to come here to Australia?
Siguro ako, sir, is don't be afraid to take risk. Kasi not taking a risk is the biggest risk. In Singapore for me.
And aside from that, you also have to do your research talaga, plan everything, and make sure na may mga backup plans. What if plan A, plan B? It's very good to have a concrete planning para alam mo yung flow na gagawin mo along the way.
100% agreed.
Okay.
Yeah.
And just to answer, we just want to thank you personally kasi we just ngayon natin nag-meet ulit after
1 year.
We are so thankful na kumbaga parang nag-meet yung tayo.
Yeah.
And because of you, kumbaga
The team.
namin.
You got the team. Yeah.
Nagawa na, kumbaga lahat naging possible
Yeah.
It was smooth. It was smooth because nandiyan kayo, you help us, and we are so thankful.
Yeah, you're most
Thank you,
welcome, and
sir.
it's
Thank you so
it's
much.
again, hearing these stories, your story is something what is the reason why we work towards to work towards bringing nurses to Australia. So again, thank you for your time, and this is Gio of TLG, and thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Bye.